Hey, this is Cindy, the crazy old sock lady, back for another installment today. Today's video has been sponsored by Corey Schmidt. He is a bronze sponsor. We want to give him a big shout out and say thank you and tell him how much we appreciate him. That means he's entered into a drawing for probably not until the 1st of July. But if you want an opportunity to sponsor our YouTube videos, please go to our Etsy page. It is the Crazy Old Lady, Crazy Old Sock Lady, just like here, just like Facebook, just like Instagram. It's all the same. Knock on wood. Nobody's crazy. Nobody's old but me. So if you guys will check out our Etsy page, we also have our CSM oil pads are on there too, as well as the sponsorship. Look for more goodies coming soon. Today we're going to talk about cones versus cakes versus vertical versus horizontal, electric this and power that, manual this. Anyway, that's the idea for today. So the first thing I'm going to start with is people think a lot of things have to be expensive. No, they really don't have to be. A lot of people use these for cones. I actually got these from Erlbacher, Gearhart, and they had waste yarn on them. They actually work really well, and if you take this, you can put it on your bobbin winder here and probably get by with using something like this. Slide it on there and then whirly away your yarn on it. So that's one way to do that. You can also use craft rolls or toilet paper rolls, both of which work well. Some people are kind of germophobic, so if you don't want to use toilet paper roll, use craft rolls. They're about the same size. The craft rolls you can get at any hobby store. They're like $3 or $4 for like a dozen of them. They're really inexpensive. I prefer this when I make cakes because it's a 3/4 inch PVC. And what I do with it is after I wind the cake onto the bobbin winder, when I go to take it off, I put it right down here like this, and I just lift it off, and it slides onto the PVC. And if I have leftover yarn, I actually put the deal back on and put it like this. I have two ways that I'll use these. Let me explain why when I do cakes, I do something with a center in it. Because what happens with a cake is if you take it off, that center relaxes and all that fiber relaxes, and you will end up with two different size socks at the end of your project if you do full size, full big socks. You're not doing shorties. The craft rolls work good for that, as do these. I actually like this better because the way I use mine, people are like, well, how do you use that? Well, here, I'll show you. You can set it up vertically and it just pops right on there. Oh, look, it slipped down. So we just push it up and it comes off this way. Now this is good for sock machines and like things like the Addies and things like that. It works good. Occasionally it'll get stuck on the bottom and you can get a little tight. So this works really good for the Addie. But my favorite way, if I'm going to have a cake, is to this. I bought this little gold board at the thrift store for $1.21. Can you zoom in on that and see that little grease pencil mark there? And I picked up I picked this up at on Amazon, and it's just 3 or 4 little pieces of industrial pipe. And I slide this on here. I put this on. And when I use this on the CSM, this is going to remind you of the toilet paper roll, over or under. I prefer over. And the reason is it puts it at the back, which means you can line it up with your mast really nicely. And it comes straight up. Occasionally it will wrap here if I'm a little loose way down here. Gotten better at that, so yeah, it takes a little bit, but it's not hard. So anyway, it's not hard to do. Screw it on, screw it off. I like this because with the 3/4 inch PVC, because it prevents it, lovely noise, from coming off. It doesn't go over the end cap, and I really like that. Of course, you can get smaller bases. I have seen people that do a similar thing, and instead of using this, they use a 4-inch paint roller, and they use a craft roller, or paper towel, or toilet paper roll, or even a paper towel roll cut in half will also do the same thing. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, and you find what works for you that's economical, that fits in your budget. You can find stuff at the thrift store, even an old paper towel roll, or toilet paper, any kind of toilet paper spool that allows it to spin freely also works nicely. Now, that's a cone. That's 100 grams on a cone, and it works great. I have 2 ways that I make cones. One is this way. Danger Woman. And you would just put the end of your yarn in here, pop it in here, and you just run it back and forth like this until the cone is full. But you do notice I'm down a little bit. If you are not down a little bit, you end up with yarn barf. Yes, lots of things in the CSM world end in barf. Needle barf, yarn barf. Yeah, it's all fun. So I like this. I want to get an adapter for my next way that I like to put to do it, so that I could actually use these cones. I recently acquired and was very, very thrilled when I got this cone winder. It came with a machine we're going to introduce just shortly, and it just clamps on. Of course, you got to screw it the right way. And then I have just the one wooden cone that mounts in here. Slide all this stuff, and voila. Okay, so right down here, there's a divot on this wooden cone for about 1 inch maybe, and you just kind of tie the yarn onto there, and then you just crank it and you just feed it back and forth. And one of the things that I learned from Eric Wolf, who uses these, he said when you do this, build up your base a little bit more, so then that way when it pulls off, you're never trying to, even if you get wonky up here, it's okay, because down here is going to be deeper, it's going to be wider, and it comes off without kind of snagging on itself, so it works really nicely. What I would love to find, which I don't have yet, is to get an adapter to fit on here to take these cones, because I think that would be fabulous. But how you use your yarn is entirely up to you. The only thing that you want to make certain, absolute certain of when you are using a CSM is that it's free-flowing and that it's not likely to get caught. If you're a really fast cranker on the foot and in the leg, you want to make sure that it's absolutely free-flowing, otherwise you can snap your yarn. I'm not a fast cranker in general. I prefer to take my time and enjoy the process. So having and using, which is what I did initially, this with a cake sitting on it here worked just fine. But I did have to keep an eye on it. The other ways, where they're sitting, where they're all vertical, where when they're on cones, if they're vertical, it's fine. But if they're on a cake, I prefer them horizontal. So stay tuned for more interesting bits and pieces. We may come up with more fun ways to do this. I don't know yet. But if you have any questions, please ask. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. And now we're going to introduce you to the latest addition to CSM Central. This is a PT Laguerre 400 that I picked up recently. I don't have a lot of provenance on it. It belonged to a lady, and her mother were downsizing and moving, and so I've got it from her. She's had it for a number of years. I brought it home, gave her a good cleaning, and she works just fine. So her name is Snebony, which is named after myself. We'll do this in the right order. Sarah, Deb, and Cindy. And Sarah and Deb are two of my very best friends from high school. We're still in touch after all these years. And so this is Snebony. And we had t-shirts made back in high school, so it was kind of fun. And we actually made them ourselves. And people would read them and misread it because the way we spelled Sanebony, and they'd say, "Oh, where's Sanebini? Oh, that's an island off the coast of Italy." But anyway, this is in honor of my two very dear friends who I've stayed in touch with all these years. Deb and I have been friends for 48 years, and hopefully we'll get something up and made and going with her just real soon, so we can show you some goodies of Sanebony's great work. Thanks for tuning in today. Hey, by the way, if you watched all the way to the end here, what I'd like you to do is in the comment section, please put Italy so I know that you watched all the way through. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our Etsy shop. It's the Crazy Old Sock Lady on Etsy, just like it is here. Check out our Facebook page. And thanks everybody for stopping by and sharing a little bit of our fun with us today. Bye! Fudge brownies.
I'm sorry, I was filming that.
Oh, that'll be a good blooper. Oh, here. Wait. Okay, go get the F-bomb.
No!
Really? This might not be a short blooper here, boo. I don't know which way I'm going. Can't tell. Yeah, I'm going the right way. So anyway, she'll shorten this up for the video.